Today's webinar is going to present you the new system we have added to Scriptcase. It's this one, personal finances, and this is a system for you to copy, or not to copy the system itself, but more to watch the examples we used to include inside the system, so you can copy to one of your applications. Okay, so do not focus on the system itself, but I recommend you to download all the systems that we have here, so you can see the examples we add, so you can use that for other systems that you have inside Scriptcase. So today we are going to explore this personal finance system. So let me open here my Scriptcase. Okay, so first we are going to see how to import the system to your Scriptcase. I'm going to create a new project, and when I'm creating a new project, I can download a template or I can create a blank project. If you create a blank project, you have to set up the database, so you need to connect to a database. So Scriptcase can create the project based in this database table, on this database table. If you are creating a template, if you are importing a template, then you don't need to create a database, because the Scriptcase is going to offer the database for you. So you're going to import the applications and database tables. Okay, so let's import here. I'll choose this personal finance. Let me add here EN. Okay, then next. We go straight from start to database. We don't need to add the language and the themes, because it's a template system. We are already adding this information to the project itself. So here we just need to select where we are going to download the database tables. We have two options. We can download to SQLite, using SQLite to Scriptcase directory, or we can download to our own database. This option here, the default one, is going to store the DB file within a Scriptcase directory. Let me show you where is this directory. So if you go here to your Scriptcase, my Scriptcase 9 is inside program files, the folder not make. This is the automatic installation. Then we have root folder, Scriptcase, devel, conf, and Scriptcase. So this is where Scriptcase stores the DB files. So we have Scriptcase database here. This is the database for Scriptcase system itself. So if you do the automatic installation, it's going to be here, DB file for Scriptcase system. And you have other DB files for systems that I have here inside my Scriptcase. So I have gradebook, I have business intelligence, and other DB files. So you can do in this way. If you use here this option, use default connection, Scriptcase is going to import to this folder. So let me see here. Personal finance, here we have. Okay, so this one is the one we are just importing now. Or if you want, you have also the option. Let me create a new one, so we can do different and import to our own database. So you can see the two options. So now I'll go here to this option to create a new connection. Then I have the databases. I can import the system tables to Oracle, SQL Server. So we are already doing the different database according to the database system. So the one I have here is MySQL. I'm going to import to MySQL. So I will connect normally and list database. I could choose one of the existing database to import the tables, or I can create a new one using here this interface. So finance system EN. Okay, so I will create this database now and use to import the tables. So now you could see the two different options. The option using the Scriptcase default database and the option using your own database. Okay, so let me open here the database to show you the tables. Database builder. Database builder is our database manager, where you can see the database tables to modify. Okay, so those are the tables we have for this system: accounts, categories, planning goals type, transactions, account types, and cash flow, user account and cash flow. So it's a very small system actually. And then you can go here. We have already some dummy records for you to play around, but you can also go here and modify and change whatever you want. Since I'm importing this system to my Scriptcase, this is my system now, so I can customize, I can copy stuff to other projects. Okay, so let's go here to the source code. We have already generated that, so we can run the system and see around. So here we have the applications from this system, and as I said before, if you find something interesting, you can just click here and copy this application to another project that you have inside your Scriptcase. As you can see here, you can choose the project, all the projects that we have inside this Scriptcase, and copy the application, or you can copy any other application you want. Okay, so let's run here the system so I can explain you what interesting we have there. Let me change here to English. So the password for example is sample1234. Okay, so basically we have here this dashboard. This system is based on that mobile applications for personal finance. So the idea, as I said before, is not you to copy the system itself. Maybe you won't need it, but just for you to see some features that we add, so you can use for other projects that you have. So here, for example, we have this dashboard. So you can see here this grid application with the progress bar. So I'm going to show here today how this progress bar is being implemented. We have also, let me see, we have this application here for the cash flow. This is a grid application. Let me go back here. It's not running here in this one. Let me run again. Cash flow, this one, because it takes it gets a parameter. So let me see here. The password, edit connection. Let me open the other one here inside the website. Okay. Okay, here we can see. So this cash flow, this is one of the most complex application we have inside this system. You will see that this is a grid with the slide orientation. So it's a different type of grid. This is not the regular grid. And we've done some advanced implementations, especially for layout of this grid. So we have some examples that I'm going to show you. And I'm going also to show you this new transaction form. So this is a form where we have where we can add transactions to our system. So you can say here if you have an expensive, an income, or a transfer, then it does some calculations for you here. So we are going to see how it works. Let me see another one. My accounts, my goals. It's also a form where you can add your goals. So we have a special validation here to build up these fields. So this is all. Those are all examples that you can use for other systems that you have. Okay, so let's go here to the applications. I'm going to start by showing you this grid application for the cash flow. So first, for you to identify, this is something that was hard for me when I was watching the applications. And for example, here you have the menu, and this menu is calling another application. So it was always hard for me to identify the name of the application inside the template systems. So what can you do? You will go here and see view the frame source. So when you open to see the frame source, it shows the application name here. So this application name is grid cash flow. Okay, then it's easy for me to find. For this project, it's not necessary because we have few applications, but sometimes you have rows number of applications, especially when you are here inside this the samples, when you are surfing here, and then you wanna find out the application. You can use this. You can see the source code for the frame and get the application name. Okay, so here we are going to open this application, which is the grid cash flow. Okay, and my first tip for you to see what's going on inside one application, it's always open the events. So then you will check if we are doing something special inside this application. For this case, we have here 3 different events being used. We have on application init, we have on script init, and we have on record. So then you can see what's going on. You can also see if we have programming methods inside the application. In this case, we don't have the methods is empty. It's empty. You can also check if we have Ajax events. So for this case, we don't have, it's empty. And also if we have external or internal libraries. Okay, for the libraries, for internal libraries, you can check here. For this case, we don't have any. And external libraries, you will check inside the events when you have the macro calling the library. For this case, we don't have external library as well, neither, but we will have for other applications. So for this case, let's start here understanding how what's being done here inside this event. Like for this grid application, we wanted to do some special layout. For example, this edit option, it uses to come here in the left side, not above the image. So what we did here, we did a special validation. So for example, if you inspect the source code, you will see the ID for this image, and you are able to customize using CSS, or you can also customize using the CSS buttons. So for this example here, what we did, we are opening here a style tag, so we can customize the CSS in the way we want. So we are just calling here this ID, be edit, and we are just defining margin. Okay, so this is a manual implementation you can do. If you needed, for example, to modify the image, you have 2 different ways. You can do in this way using manual CSS, or you can come here to layout CSS buttons. So for example, we are using for this application, let me check here, we are using the theme settings. We are using the theme SC9 Hino, so the group of buttons is also using the same theme. So if we go back here to CSS buttons, we have this one, this group of button. So I'm not able to customize here because this is the one from Scriptcase. It's a Scriptcase level, we say, but I can copy and say that this is my Hino. Okay, so it's public, project, or user. I have these 3 different levels. So I will say okay. Then when I copy, this is going to be my buttons. So I can customize and upload different buttons. So this one, for example, the edit. Let's edit here. So when I click edit, it opens the options for me to upload new images, for me to modify the length variables, for me to modify the button type. So for this case, let me look for the edit one. So here we have the edit button. It's using this image, but I could upload a different image. So this is a way that I have to customize the button, or I can use this manual implementation as we are doing here, just to adjust the margin. Okay. Another thing that we are doing for this case here, for this second implementation, we are just rounding the images. Let me see this image here for the bank and wallet. So we are just doing this round here for the image. Okay, this one is from Scriptcase as well. We are removing the borders, okay, of the application. So here, yeah, we are just putting this name center, this description, and then here we are defining this icon here. Okay, so this is basically stuff for you to see how to customize here the layout. If you go to grid models, you will see inside grid options that we are using the orientation slide. So if you just apply the slide orientation, it's not going to be with this layout. So that's why I'm showing you that you are able to customize manually using CSS inside the events as well. Okay. So here inside OnScript init, we are just protecting here the date fields. This macro, it's very interesting. This is a special macro for you when you are using different databases. Let's say that you want to implement this project for different databases. As we saw when I was importing the project, this project can be imported for different databases. So if you import to Oracle, for example, it will treat date fields in a different way. So we use this macro for this. Let me open the documentation just to show you. Learning documentation. So let's find this macro. So this macro will protect the value based as a parameter according with the user database. Okay, so it's always used with date field, as you can see here. Another example. Okay, so it's a macro we are using here, and then inside the on record we have more implementation for the icons. This icon here, this is this one here. For the bank, for the wallet, because this one changed according to the parameter. So we are defining that here. And down here we have the colors for the balance. Sometimes it appears green or red. So it's also being defined here. So the idea is more to show you where to find stuff according to the events. So later on you can analyze this code better and then see what it is doing and maybe copy to your projects. Let me see what else we have here inside this application. We have this event inside the group by. We have here the events inside the group by, and we are using this on group by all. So this is because we need to have a dynamic total. So we are using here this event to display here the total, this balance of all accounts dynamically. Okay. So as I said, this grid is full of examples. Then going on here, let me see another application I wanted to show you. The form. This application for the cash flow, I have two different applications. I have this one and I have the second one for you to confirm the transactions. So this is just a copy of that application, but then you have this run button where you can confirm the transactions. So you have here the confirm button for you to confirm the transactions. Then if you go back here to Scriptcase, this is the application, the cash flow not consumed. So this is exactly the same as the grid cash flow. The difference is that you have this button. This is a run button. Just updating here the database fields to confirm the transactions. So this is also an example of using a run button. Okay. So for the form application, the most interesting we have here is the form, the planning goals. Let me see if it's this one. Yeah, so here we are doing many calculations, and then you can understand how to organize this using PHP methods. Like for example, here we have the PHP methods calculating the fields. So inside the methods we do the calculations, and then inside the Ajax events we just call the methods. Let me run here the form. This is the form new transaction. So let's put here a new transaction. It's going to be 100 income. So transfer to my bank. Then I'll choose here the category. Then I have, this is a capture link. So I can choose here the categories. Let me choose salary. Okay. And add. Okay, transaction successful. And then from behind we are updating all the tables, so we can see the dashboard and all the applications according to this new transaction. I can also add goals here. For example, new goal. I want to save from today to the end of the year. I want to save I don't know, 200 a month, and then let me put here 400, and I want to save 1,000. Okay, so I can add here calls for me. And here I can add all the accounts. For example, I can add bank 1, bank 2. So those are just regular forms, but you can see here, for example, for the color, we are using that new field we have added for the calendar. Let me find here this application to show you. Form user account. So form user account, this one here. So the field is this one color. So as you can see, we are using HTML color, and here we are using that palette option. This option was added within the version 19. So you can add here colors and build a palette. So this is an example. We were using this within the calendar application, but this is an example of how you can use within a form application. So here we use to add a new account. So we can add here. Okay, so we have a new account now. Okay, then within that form planning goals, you have also events for the calculation. But this is just for you to calculate fields according to update, or when you are using the Ajax events, is just to update all the stuff when you are including this form. And another application I want to show you, which one? Yeah, the progress bar. It's inside the goals. Yes, this progress bar. So this is a grid application, and then here we are linking to a form application to add a new goal. But this is a virtual field. So let's open this application here. My goals. This one, grid planning goals. Then we have here this field. As you can see, it's a virtual field. Every time you have this trash, it means that you have a virtual field. It's not a field inside the database, it's just a field inside the application. So here, inside the events, we have two events for this field. The first event is calling the library. So we have a library, progressbar.css. So this is an external library. If we go here to Tools, External Library, you can find here this that is coming with the project, Finances. I can edit here to see the codes. So I have this file, progressbar.css. It could be a different progressbar layout. We are getting this one. You can also modify the CSS. So this is just to for the progress bar style, and then this line here is just to call this CSS file, and then inside the on record event we are applying here the progress bar and doing all the calculation. So here you can see that we are applying according to the colors. So if it's less than 30, it's going to be red. If it's between 30 and 70, it's going to be yellow, blue if it's more than 70, or green if it's 100. Okay, and then we have here the field. So we know that when we have curly, we are talking about fields. So here we are applying this div to the field percentile. Okay. So we are calling here this class from the CSS file, because we are calling already the CSS file inside the event, and then we have this div. So we are applying the div to the field. In this way, we have the progress bar in this way inside the field percentage. Okay, so first we call the library inside the on application init event, and then we put here this div to the field. So we have the div inside the field. You can do this kind of implementation or the libraries as well. So inside the external libraries, we have also login, the CSS and the HTML. So we are using the new option for the login screen, the option with the manual HTML. So this is a simple HTML, and if we open here the login screen, we are going to have this login screen. So if you want to copy this login screen, you can just go here and copy the code, or you can copy, since it's a library from the project, you can just save as, change here if it's project or public, and then use your own name, or you can also modify from this one. You have this one from Scriptcase. This is where you have all the types of templates. Let me use this one. The samples, it comes with all the projects, but we don't send it as like using, because when you click here to use the library, it means that you are adding all this codes to your project. So sometimes you don't need, so you can go here. Since you have it now, you can copy. Let me copy here, public. Public, it's going to be available for all the projects, and projects, it's going to be available only for this current project. So let me add here my samples. And save. So now it's not a Scriptcase library anymore, it's my public library. So my samples, I'm going to use this one. And then now I can edit. So I can open here the applications. This samples from Scriptcase offers some other login screen templates. If you go to the website, you can see here control. So this is the one, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So you have different templates, so you can copy in this way. Let me go back here. So let's say that I want to replace here my login screen. Let me open here the login screen. Now for this login screen, we are using the project Finance. So we are using this library, and we are calling here the login template. So let's say that I want to change. So I'll go to public, or I can go to Scriptcase, but in this way it's better if I use the public one, because now inside the public one I can modify, for example, the background image or any other parameter. So I'm going to use this one now, not the one from the project. I'm going to choose this one, the login 4. Okay, so I can go here to create the fields, but it's not going to be necessary because I have already the fields. It's the login password and links. It's already okay. I can check here the markups, and it's they're all okay. If I'm doing from scratch, I'll have to add all the markups, but then since I'm using a template from Scriptcase, I can just use in this way. So I guess it's going to work now. Let me run to see if it's okay. So I have now a different login screen for the same project. Okay, this is just to show you how to copy this templates and apply to your projects. So again, you have to, this one I'm showing now, it's inside the samples library, so you have to save as your own library, public or project, and then you will apply inside the login screen. This type of login screen that we are using is being created with the control application, using the option to define the HTML manually. Okay, this one here. But if you create the security model, you're going to be able to apply as well. Let me create here quickly just to show you. Okay, here login template. When you are creating the security model, you are able to use a login template, so it opens the libraries, the external libraries. So here it shows all the templates you have inside the library. So we can see here the samples from Scriptcase, we can see the one from Finance that we have, and my public templates. Then we can see again the ones we've copied. Okay guys, so this is more or less what I had planned for today. I don't know if you guys have questions regarding here the project, if you saw the project before. I'm using here the version 22. So we have more news inside this version. It's going to be released on Monday. And next week, I'm going to show you guys a new option we've added to this version, which is the maps, the Fusion Maps library. Let me show you here, scriptcase.net. No, Fusion. So for the charts from Scriptcase, we use this charts library. This is a JavaScript library for charts. So this is the library we use for Scriptcase charts, and we didn't have this option available for the maps. So they have a library just for maps. They call Fusion Maps. So you can build here different types of maps, graphical maps. And for the maps, they do not use, for example, they do not use, as you can see here, Fusion Maps does not work on zip codes or latitude and longitude. It uses an internal coordinate system to plot points. So it's very useful for you to do graphical maps. So it's a paid library, and using a Scriptcase you don't need to pay because we have an OEM license. So we have added a new macro, and next week I'm going to bring here the developer so we can explain how you can apply this option, this new maps option. It's going to be similar to the Go.js we saw here 2 weeks before, but now you are going to be able to use here Fusion Maps inside your Scriptcase applications. And next week we are going to talk about this. It's going to be more advanced because I'm going to bring the developer for us to show more coding inside the events. And there is a new this new library, so it's very similar. Let me see if I find here. Let me open another Scriptcase. Yeah, here I have the okay. So this is just to show you the it's very similar to the Go.js we saw last webinar. So we are calling here the library maps. We are getting from an external library, and then we have here the SC include Fusion charts. So this is a new library that we are opening for you. So you can create charts using charts chart application from Scriptcase, but you can also now create charts or map or geographical maps using here the Fusion charts directly. So next week we are going to talk about this, and I'm going to show you here this application we are preparing with maps. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have questions regarding today's example. It was quite simple today. It was more for us to show you this new project. I recommend you to have a look within the project. Then if you have further questions, you can send us by email as well. My email is marcia@scriptcase.net. Okay guys, so thank you very much for attending, for being here so far, and then I see you next week. Don't miss this one with the maps. It's going to be very interesting, and this library is it's very powerful, so it's good to have it unlocked inside Scriptcase, because then you can build different types of charts and maps. So don't miss our next webinar. So thank you very much. Bye bye.